Remediation, in a nutshell, is taking an existing piece of media from a specific medium, then recreating it in another medium. The remediated medium can either keep its essence from the original medium or alter it through creative process. From my understanding, it is basically how certain films are an adaptation from a novel. A written novel being adapted into a film is one of the most prominent examples of remediation. Films like Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2 were both based on an existing novel with the same name. An example of remediation, which I found is unique, is the War of the World broadcast, which was aired in 1938. The broadcast itself was a remediation of a science fiction novel with the same name in 1897. What I find unique about the broadcast is that it brought the scene from the novel to life through the perspective of a news reporter delivering the news of the Martian invasion in real time, which led to many people believing that the invasion was real, and unfortunately it had also led to some tragedies. But turning a novel into another type of medium is one of the most common ways a media gets remediated, but it doesn't stop at just novels. Even films and animation can be remediated into another medium and vice versa. The most recent example I could find is the upcoming film Moana, which is a live-action adaptation of an animated film with the same name that was made in 2016. The examples of the remediated media that I mentioned before were created by professional studios with dedicated crews and budget and professional-grade equipment. But remediation can basically be done by anyone, especially in the current days. Most often, the remediated media that I have seen on YouTube are animations that were based on video games and films of the same genre. If you've been on the internet long enough, you might remember the trends of source filmmaker animation back in like 2012, where YouTubers used that software to create animations with video games character model. If I remember correctly, they would often use Team Fortress 2 and FNAF characters model to be part of the video. Of course, those kinds of animations are still pretty much alive and well on the current day, but with a different software instead. Speaking of video games, this brings me to the two types of remediation: transparent immediacy and hyper-immediacy. These two types are quite straightforward to explain. Transparent immediacy are a type of remediation to make you immerse into the media that you are consuming, whether that is through a compelling story where it treats the audience like an in-world character, or through photorealistic graphic that tries to match real life as much as possible. Hypermediacy, on the other hand, focuses more on reminding the audience that they are interacting with the media they are consuming, which is basically what most video games are doing through its interaction with the player. With that being said, video games can be both transparent immediacy and hypermediacy, where they are often intertwined with each other. A fictional novel about a futuristic dystopia can be remediated into a story video games where it solely focuses on showing the players the world-building aspect of it while providing little to no interactivity like heads-up display. On the other hand, the same novels can be turned into role-playing games where it has multiplayer features loaded with icons and HUDs to remind the players that they are indeed playing a video game. In my opinion, Remediation showcases the endless potential of human creativity, with how people are able to take a piece of an existing medium and turn it into something new, while still keeping the essence of the original medium it was taken from. Remediation does not replace the original medium, but is instead an alternative form of the medium to provide more options for the audience to access and interact with. Giving more options for the audience to interact with certain medias can be beneficial, as it not only allows for more accessibility, but also creates varieties of audience interpretation of that certain media. So to explain this further, an audience that has read the original novel might have a different interpretation of the story when compared to the audience that has watched the film that was based on the original novel. For novels, the audience can take their own time to read and imagine what the scene would look like visually. For film, the audience can only interpret the story based on how the director for the film imagined it to be. Beyond that, the audience that has played the video games based on either the film or the novel has a vastly different interpretation of the story, not accounting for the fact that the content within each remediated media can be remixed according to the creator's creative decision, while still keeping the core essence to the original source. Overall, remediation opens the door for the audience to explore the media in different angles by using the medium they are most comfortable with, allowing for more flexibility, and it caters to specific types of audience depending on the medium a media has been remediated to. So that is it for the Yap session about remediation. I will see you on the next one.